Too many people spend their lives chasing approval. They wake up every day thinking about what others expect from them, what society demands, what their friends think, what their family wants. They invest their energy into proving their worth to people who might not even be watching. And in doing so, they lose sight of the most important person in their lives, themselves. But what if I told you that the real transformation, the kind that shifts the course of your life, happens the moment you decide to turn your focus inward? What if the key to success, happiness, and fulfillment isn't in chasing the world's validation, but in mastering your own mind, your own actions, and your own purpose? When you focus on yourself, something extraordinary happens. The noise of the outside world begins to fade. The distractions, the comparisons, the opinions, they lose their grip on you. And what's left is clarity. A deep, unshakable clarity about who you are, what you want, and where you're headed. Because here's the truth, no one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you the life you dream of. No one is going to do the work for you. The people you're trying to impress, they're too busy worrying about their own lives. The people you're afraid of disappointing, they've already forgotten the moment you were worried about. So the question is, when will you stop living for them and start living for you? Too many people spend their lives caught up in a cycle of distractions that keep them from reaching their true potential. They wake up, grab their phone, scroll through social media, and immediately become absorbed in other people's lives. They see what their friends are doing, what celebrities are wearing, and what strangers are achieving. Before they even start their day, their minds are already cluttered with comparisons, doubts, and unnecessary noise. The world is filled with distractions designed to keep you focused on everything except yourself. Advertisements tell you what to buy, social media tells you what to think, and society tells you what success should look like. But in the process, you lose your own voice. You lose the ability to listen to yourself, to understand what you truly want, and to recognize what actually brings you fulfillment. From an early age, we are conditioned to seek external validation. We are taught to chase grades, approval from teachers, admiration from peers, and the approval of our families. As we grow older, this transforms into a constant need to fit into societal expectations. We measure our lives by how much we earn, the kind of job we have, the house we live in, and whether or not others approve of our choices. We rarely stop to ask ourselves, is this truly what I want? Instead, we continue running on a treadmill that never stops, exhausting ourselves in an attempt to keep up with the world around us. But no matter how fast we run, the finish line keeps moving. This endless chase leaves us feeling unfulfilled because it's built on an illusion. The illusion that happiness comes from external validation. The illusion that the more people admire us, the more successful we are. The illusion that life is a competition and we are constantly falling behind. But in reality, this constant comparison and distraction only leads to frustration and emptiness. The more we focus on what others are doing, the less we focus on ourselves. The more we chase approval, the less we build genuine confidence. The more we allow distractions to control us, the less we take charge of our own lives. The truth is, focusing on yourself is the only way to break free from this trap. It's about shutting out the unnecessary noise and redirecting your attention toward your own growth. It means asking yourself tough questions. What do I want? What makes me happy? What am I working toward? It means stopping for a moment, stepping away from the distractions and looking inward. Instead of spending hours scrolling through other people's lives, spend that time improving your own. Instead of worrying about whether others approve of your decisions, start making decisions that feel right for you. Instead of measuring your success based on someone else's timeline, define success on your own terms. One of the biggest barriers to self-growth is the fear of missing out. People are afraid that if they don't keep up with trends, they'll be left behind. They worry that if they stop paying attention to what others are doing, they'll fall behind in life. But the irony is that the more time you spend watching others, the less time you have to improve yourself. The people who achieve the most in life are not the ones who constantly observe others. They are the ones who stay focused on their own journey, blocking out the noise and putting in the work. They don't care about impressing the world. They care about becoming the best version of themselves. Focusing on yourself means making a conscious decision to protect your energy. It means filtering what you consume, whether it's social media, news, or even the people you surround yourself with. It means understanding that not everything deserves your attention. Every time you check your phone, every time you engage in gossip, every time you allow negativity into your mind, you are taking away from the energy that could be used to build yourself. Your energy is limited, and where you direct it will determine the quality of your life. There will always be distractions. There will always be expectations. There will always be people trying to tell you what you should do. But the moment you decide to tune out the noise and focus on yourself, everything changes. The world no longer dictates your happiness. Other people's opinions no longer control your self-worth. Your time, your energy, and your attention become your most valuable assets, and you learn to invest them wisely. Most people live their lives based on what others think of them. They wake up every morning seeking approval, making choices that are more about fitting in than about personal growth. They mold their decisions around what society expects, what their family wants, and what their peers consider acceptable. They pursue careers not because they love them, but because they sound impressive. They follow trends not because they resonate with them, but because they fear being left out. They define success by external factors, money, status, recognition, rather than by internal fulfillment. And as a result, they often find themselves feeling lost, exhausted, and unfulfilled, constantly chasing something that never seems to bring lasting happiness. The truth is, when you live for external validation, you will never be satisfied. No matter how much approval you get, it will never feel like enough. No matter how many people admire you, there will always be someone who criticizes you. No matter how much you achieve, there will always be someone doing better. If your happiness is dependent on the outside world, you will always be at the mercy of forces you cannot control. And that is why the only way to true fulfillment is to shift your focus inward. When you stop caring about what the world thinks and start caring about what you think of yourself, everything changes. You begin to make decisions that align with your values rather than expectations. You start to prioritize your own needs, dreams, and well-being rather than living for the approval of others. You stop measuring your worth based on external success and start measuring it based on internal growth. This shift is not easy because it requires breaking free from years of conditioning. From childhood, people are taught to seek validation. Good grades mean praise, following rules means acceptance, and doing what others expect earns approval. But as adults, this habit becomes dangerous. It keeps people trapped in jobs they hate, relationships that drain them, and lifestyles that don't bring them joy. It keeps them stuck in a cycle of seeking external rewards while ignoring their inner desires. True success is not about how the world sees you, it is about how you see yourself. It is about waking up every morning and knowing that you are living a life that feels right for you. It is about pursuing passions, not just paychecks. It is about building a life that excites you rather than one that impresses others. It is about feeling proud of who you are, regardless of whether others approve. When you shift your focus from external to internal, you stop being reactive and start being proactive. You stop letting life happen to you and start taking control of your destiny. You no longer seek permission to be who you are, you simply become it. This shift also leads to greater confidence. When you no longer depend on the opinions of others for validation, you free yourself from insecurity. You stop second-guessing your choices because you are no longer trying to meet someone else's standards. You stop hesitating to take risks because you are no longer afraid of failure. Instead, you trust yourself, knowing that your worth is not determined by success or failure, but by your willingness to grow. And when you reach this level of self-trust, you become unstoppable. No setback can shake you. No criticism can break you. No rejection can define you because you have built your foundation on something stronger than external approval. You have built it on self-belief. Another powerful benefit of focusing on yourself is the clarity it brings. When your mind is not occupied with pleasing others, you have space to understand what truly matters to you. You start to recognize your strengths, passions, and purpose. You begin to listen to your intuition rather than the noise of the outside world. You gain a deeper understanding of who you are and what kind of life you want to create. And once you have that clarity, every decision becomes easier. You no longer waste time on things that do not align with your goals. You no longer invest energy into relationships that do not support your growth. You no longer allow distractions to pull you away from your purpose. Instead, you move forward with confidence, knowing exactly what you want and refusing to settle for anything less. Focusing on yourself does not mean becoming selfish or ignoring the people around you. It means setting boundaries, protecting your energy, and making choices that serve your long-term happiness. It means recognizing that you cannot pour into others if your own cup is empty. It means understanding that the best way to serve the world is by becoming the best version of yourself. When you prioritize your growth, you become an inspiration to others. When you focus on your own journey, you naturally uplift those around you. When you live in alignment with your truth, you give others permission to do the same. Self-respect is the foundation of everything in life. Without it, you allow people to walk over you, settle for less than you deserve, and accept situations that drain your energy. When you don't respect yourself, you make choices that are based on fear of being alone, fear of disappointing others, fear of not being enough. You tolerate toxic relationships because you believe that's the best you can get. You stay in unfulfilling jobs because you don't think you are capable of more. You say yes to things you don't want because you are afraid of upsetting others. But the moment you develop true self-respect, everything changes. Self-respect means having high standards for yourself. It means refusing to accept anything that goes against your values, your peace, or your well-being. It means knowing your worth and walking away from anything that does not align with it. When you respect yourself, you stop tolerating disrespect from others. You no longer chase people who do not value you. You no longer engage in situations that drain your energy. You no longer seek validation from those who do not recognize your worth. Instead, you hold yourself to a higher standard, and in doing so, you attract better opportunities, better relationships, and a better quality of life. One of the biggest signs of self-respect is the ability to set boundaries. Without boundaries, people take advantage of you, and you find yourself constantly giving without receiving. You allow others to dictate how you spend your time, energy, and emotions. But when you respect yourself, you understand that your time is valuable. You no longer allow people to waste it. You no longer enter to negativity or drama. You no longer feel guilty for saying no. Instead, you make decisions that protect your peace and prioritize your well-being. Setting boundaries is not selfish, it is necessary. It is a sign that you respect yourself enough to protect your mental, emotional, and physical health. Another important aspect of self-respect is self-discipline. When you truly respect yourself, you don't allow yourself to engage in behaviors that are destructive or hold you back. You do not let laziness, procrastination, or bad habits control your life. You push yourself to be better, not because someone else is watching, but because you hold yourself to a higher standard. You stay committed to your goals even when no one else is holding you accountable. You take care of your body, mind, and spirit because you understand that you deserve to be the best version of yourself. Self-respect also influences the kind of relationships you attract. When you respect yourself, you naturally attract people who respect you as well. You no longer entertain people who treat you poorly. You no longer feel the need to prove your worth to anyone. Instead, you surround yourself with people who uplift you, support you, and appreciate you for who you are. You understand that it is better to be alone than to be in bad company. You value your own presence enough to walk away from anything that does not serve you. One of the greatest challenges in developing self-respect is overcoming the fear of what others will think. Many people stay in toxic situations because they are afraid of judgment. They do not want to disappoint others. They do not want to be seen as difficult or selfish. But the truth is, when you live your life based on the opinions of others, you lose yourself in the process. You give away your power, your happiness, and your freedom. True self-respect means making choices that align with your values, even if others don't understand. It means standing firm in your decisions, even if it means losing people along the way. It means trusting that by choosing yourself, you are creating a life that is true to who you are. Developing self-respect is a process. It requires unlearning patterns of people-pleasing, breaking free from self-doubt, and learning to stand up for yourself. It requires daily effort, but the results are life-changing. When you respect yourself, you become unstoppable. You move through life with confidence, knowing that you are worthy of everything you desire. You no longer beg for love, opportunities, or approval. You simply become someone who commands respect not through force, but through the way you carry yourself, the way you treat yourself, and the way you allow others to treat you. Your mindset is the foundation of everything you achieve in life. The way you think determines the way you act, and the way you act determines the results you get. If your mindset is filled with doubt, fear, and negativity, your life will reflect that. If you constantly tell yourself that you are not good enough, not smart enough, or not capable, you will never take the steps needed to reach your full potential. On the other hand, when you develop a strong, positive, and growth-oriented mindset, you begin to see possibilities instead of limitations. You start to believe in your ability to improve, to overcome challenges, and to create the life you desire. Many people are held back not by their circumstances, but by their own beliefs. They have convinced themselves that they're stuck, that success is only for others, that they are not lucky enough or talented enough to achieve great things. But the truth is, success is not about luck. It is about how you think and what you choose to believe about yourself. The most successful people in the world are not necessarily the smartest or the most talented. They are the ones who refuse to let self-doubt control them. They are the ones who have trained their minds to see obstacles as opportunities. They are the ones who take action despite fear, who keep going even when they fail, and who understand that their mindset is the key to unlocking their full potential. Your mind is like a muscle. It can be trained, strengthened, and reprogrammed. If you have spent years feeding your mind with negativity, self-doubt, and limiting beliefs, it will take time to change. But it is possible. The first step is becoming aware of the thoughts that are holding you back. Pay attention to the way you talk to yourself. Do you encourage yourself, or do you constantly criticize yourself? Do you focus on possibilities, or do you focus on problems? The way you speak to yourself matters more than anything. Your words shape your reality. When you constantly tell yourself that you are not good enough, you will act in ways that prove that belief to be true. But when you tell yourself that you are capable, strong, and worthy of success, you will begin to take actions that align with that belief. One of the most powerful ways to shift your mindset is to replace negative self-talk with empowering thoughts. Instead of saying, "I can't do this," start saying, "I am capable of learning." Instead of saying, "I always fail," start saying, "Every failure is a lesson that brings me closer to success." Instead of saying, "I am not good enough," start saying, "I am constantly improving and I deserve success." Your mind believes what you repeatedly tell it. The more you reinforce positive beliefs, the more your mindset will shift and the more confident you will become in your ability to achieve your goals. Another important part of mastering your mindset is learning to embrace challenges. Many people avoid difficulties because they see them as signs of failure. But the truth is, every successful person has faced setbacks, obstacles, and moments of doubt. What sets them apart is their ability to keep going despite the difficulties. When you train your mind to see challenges as opportunities for growth, you stop fearing failure. You start to see every obstacle as a lesson, every setback as a stepping stone, and every struggle as a chance to become stronger. This shift in mindset makes you unstoppable because it means that no matter what happens, you will keep moving forward. Your environment also plays a crucial role in shaping your mindset. If you surround yourself with negative, doubtful, and fearful people, their mindset will influence yours. But if you surround yourself with people who think big, take action, and believe in themselves, you will naturally start to adopt the same mindset. Be mindful of the content you consume, the conversations you engage in, and the people you spend time with. Choose to be around those who challenge you to grow, who inspire you to be better, and who remind you of your potential. The more you fill your mind with positivity, the stronger your mindset will become. The final key to mastering your mindset is consistency. Changing the way you think does not happen overnight. It requires daily effort, conscious awareness, and a commitment to replacing old habits with new ones. But the more you practice, the easier it becomes. Over time, positive thinking will become natural, self-belief will become unshakable, and success will become inevitable. Energy is one of the most valuable resources you have. It determines how productive you are, how motivated you feel, and how much you can accomplish in a day. Yet, so many people waste their energy on things that do not serve them. They invest their mental and emotional energy into worrying about things they cannot control. They spend their time on people who drain them, engage in meaningless distractions, and allow negativity to consume them. As a result, they feel exhausted, unfulfilled, and stuck in a cycle of frustration. But when you learn to protect your energy, everything changes. You begin to focus only on what truly matters and you stop allowing unnecessary things to drain you. One of the biggest ways people waste energy is by overthinking. They replay past mistakes in their minds, constantly worrying about what could have been different. They obsess over the future, fearing outcomes that may never happen. They spend hours doubting their decisions, questioning whether they made the right choice. This mental exhaustion does not lead to progress, it only creates stress. When you protect your energy, you learn to let go of things that do not serve you. You stop dwelling on the past because you cannot change it. You stop fearing the future because worrying does not give you control. Instead, you focus on what you can do in the present moment. You take action instead of overanalyzing. You trust yourself instead of doubting every move. Another major drain on energy is toxic relationships. The people you surround yourself with have a direct impact on your mental and emotional well-being. If you are constantly around people who bring negativity, complain about everything, or drain your energy with their problems, you will feel exhausted. Protecting your energy means setting boundaries. It means recognizing when a relationship is harming you more than helping you. It means choosing to spend time with people who uplift you, inspire you, and encourage your growth. It does not mean you have to cut people off completely, but it does mean limiting your exposure to negativity. You have to be mindful of who you allow into your space because your energy is too valuable to waste on those who do not respect it. Social media is another silent energy drain. So many people spend hours scrolling through content that does not add value to their lives. They compare themselves to others, feel insecure about their own progress, and get caught up in online debates that lead nowhere. Protecting your energy means being intentional about what you consume. If something does not inspire, educate, or uplift you, it is not worth your time. You have to guard your mind the same way you guard your physical space. Just as you would not let someone into your home to a mess, you should not let negative content into your mind to disrupt your peace. Unfollow accounts that make you feel unworthy. Limit your screen time. Use social media as a tool for growth rather than a source of distraction. Your daily habits also play a huge role in your energy levels. Poor diet, lack of exercise, and insufficient sleep all contribute to low energy. When you do not take care of your body, your mind suffers. When you eat junk food, you feel sluggish. When you do not move your body, your energy decreases. When you do not rest properly, your focus and motivation decline. Protecting your energy means taking care of yourself physically. It means fueling your body with nutritious food, moving regularly, and making sleep a priority. When your body is in good shape, your mind functions better, and you are able to show up fully in every area of your life. Protecting your energy also means being mindful of what you say yes to. So many people feel obligated to do things they do not want to do, simply because they are afraid of disappointing others. They overcommit, take on more than they can handle, and end up feeling drained. Learning to say no is one of the most powerful ways to protect your energy. You do not owe anyone an explanation for prioritizing your well-being. If something does not align with your goals, your values, or your peace of mind, it is okay to decline. Your time and energy are valuable, and you have the right to use them in ways that serve you. Lastly, protecting your energy means learning to manage stress. Life will always bring challenges, but how you handle them determines whether they control you. When you allow stress to consume you, it drains your energy and clouds your judgment. But when you learn to manage it through mindfulness, deep breathing, or simply taking a step back, you regain control. You begin to realize that not everything deserves your reaction. You do not have to let every little inconvenience upset you. You do not have to engage in every argument. You do not have to stress over things that will not matter in a few weeks. When you master this, you free up energy to focus on what truly matters, and you move through life with a greater sense of peace and purpose. Consistency is the secret ingredient that separates those who succeed from those who never reach their full potential. It is not about talent, luck, or intelligence. It is about showing up every single day, even when you do not feel like it. So many people start with excitement, full of motivation and big dreams, but they fail to follow through because they rely on feelings instead of discipline. They work hard for a few days, but when results do not come immediately, they give up. They start a new habit, but stop as soon as it becomes inconvenient. They want success, but they are not willing to commit to the daily effort it requires. True growth, progress, and transformation only happen when you stay consistent, even when it is hard, even when you do not see instant results, and even when no one is watching. The reason consistency is so powerful is that it compounds over time. Small actions repeated daily create massive results. A single workout will not make you fit, but training consistently will transform your body. Reading one book will not make you an expert, but reading consistently will build your knowledge. Posting one video will not make you successful, but showing up every day will create momentum. Success is not built overnight, it is built through daily habits repeated over weeks, months, and years. The problem is that most people do not have the patience to wait for results. They expect instant gratification, and when they do not get it, they quit too soon. But the truth is, real success belongs to those who keep going, even when they feel like nothing is happening. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that motivation is the key to success. They wait until they feel inspired to take action, but the reality is that motivation is temporary. It comes and goes, and if you rely on it, you will never be consistent. The real key is discipline. Discipline means doing what needs to be done, even when you do not feel like it. It means showing up when you are tired, pushing forward when you feel discouraged, and staying committed even when progress is slow. The most successful people in the world are not always the most motivated, but they are the most disciplined. They understand that consistency beats intensity. It is better to take small steps every day than to go all out for a week and then stop. Another challenge with consistency is that most people expect perfection. They think that if they miss one day, they have failed, so they give up entirely. But consistency is not about being perfect, it is about being committed. Missing one workout does not ruin your progress, but quitting does. Skipping one day of work does not destroy your dreams, but never returning to it does. The key is to get back on track as soon as possible. Do not let one bad day turn into a bad week. Do not let one mistake make you think you are not capable. Success is not about never falling, it is about always getting back up. The people who achieve great things are not the ones who never struggle. They are the ones who refuse to quit. A major reason why consistency is difficult is because the results are not always visible in the beginning. You might work hard for weeks and see no progress. You might put in the effort and feel like nothing is changing. This is where most people give up, but what they do not realize is that growth is happening beneath the surface. Just like a seed takes time to grow before it breaks through the soil, your efforts are creating change, even if you cannot see it yet. The results will come, but only if you keep going. Most people fail not because they lack ability, but because they give up right before they are about to succeed. Another way to stay consistent is to remove unnecessary decision-making. When you rely on willpower, you are more likely to fail. Instead, make your habits automatic. If you want to work out every morning, lay out your gym clothes the night before. If you want to read more, keep a book next to your bed. If you want to eat healthier, remove junk food from your house. The fewer decisions you have to make, the easier it is to stay consistent. Your environment plays a huge role in your success, so set yourself up for success by making good habits easy and bad habits difficult. The most important thing about consistency is understanding that it is a lifelong commitment. You do not become successful and then stop putting in the effort. You do not reach your goal and then go back to your old habits. Growth is a continuous process, and success requires constant effort. The moment you stop being consistent, you start to decline. But when you commit to showing up every single day, no matter what, you become unstoppable. You build momentum, you develop discipline, and you create a lifestyle that leads to success in every area of your life. One of the biggest mistakes people make in life is measuring their progress based on where others are rather than focusing on their own journey. Comparison is a dangerous trap that steals joy, kills motivation, and leaves you feeling like you are never enough. In today's world, where social media constantly showcases people's best moments, it is easy to look at someone else's success and feel like you are falling behind. You see someone achieving their dreams, buying their dream house, traveling the world, or reaching milestones you have not yet achieved, and suddenly your own progress feels small. But the truth is, every person is on a different path with different challenges, opportunities, and timelines. When you focus too much on what others are doing, you lose sight of your own progress, and that is where the real damage happens. The reality is that comparison is never fair. When you compare yourself to someone else, you are only seeing a small part of their story. You see their highlight reel, but you do not see the struggles, sacrifices, and setbacks they faced to get there. You do not see the long nights, the failures, the doubts, or the times they wanted to give up. Every person's journey is filled with challenges, even if they do not show it. When you compare yourself to someone who seems ahead of you, you are comparing your behind the scenes to their best moments, and that will always make you feel like you are not enough. The truth is, everyone struggles, everyone faces obstacles. No one has it all figured out. When you truly understand this, you begin to let go of the need to measure your success based on someone else's timeline. One of the biggest dangers of comparison is that it creates unnecessary pressure. Instead of focusing on steady growth, people rush their journey just to keep up with others. They make decisions out of fear of being left behind rather than following what is truly right for them. This pressure leads to frustration, burnout, and even self-doubt. But when you stop comparing, you allow yourself to move at your own pace. You trust the process, knowing that what is meant for you will come at the right time. Life is not a race, and there is no single path to success. Some people achieve things quickly while others take longer, but what matters is that you stay consistent and committed to your journey. Another harmful effect of comparison is that it takes your focus away from the things that truly matter. Instead of appreciating how far you have come, you focus on how far you have left to go. Instead of celebrating your progress, you minimize it because it does not look like someone else's success. This kind of thinking keeps you in a constant state of dissatisfaction, making it hard to appreciate your own growth. The truth is, progress is personal. Your growth, no matter how small, is still growth. What matters is that you are moving forward, even if it is not at the same speed as others. When you learn to appreciate your own journey, you feel more confident, more motivated, and more fulfilled. The key to overcoming comparison is shifting your mindset from competition to self-improvement. Instead of asking, why am I not where they are? Ask, how can I be better than I was yesterday? The only person you should compare yourself to is your past self. Focus on becoming a little better each day, and over time you will see massive progress. Set your own goals, define success on your own terms, and measure your growth based on your own achievements, not someone else's. When you do this, you take back control of your happiness and your progress. Another powerful way to escape comparison is practicing gratitude. When you focus on what you already have rather than what you lack, you feel more fulfilled. Instead of looking at what others have achieved, take time to appreciate your own journey. Think about where you were a year ago and how much you have grown. Acknowledge your achievements, no matter how small they seem. Gratitude shifts your focus from what is missing to what is present, and that changes everything. The more you appreciate your own path, the less you feel the need to compare it to someone else's. It is also important to be mindful of your environment. Social media, for example, is one of the biggest sources of comparison. If constantly seeing other people's success makes you feel unworthy, take a break. Unfollow accounts that trigger self-doubt and focus on content that inspires and uplifts you. Surround yourself with people who support your growth rather than those who make you feel inadequate. The more you protect your mindset, the easier it becomes to focus on your own progress. At the end of the day, comparison is a choice. You can choose to let it drain your energy, make you feel like you are not enough, and distract you from your own journey. Or you can choose to focus on your own growth, appreciate your progress, and move forward with confidence. When you stop looking at what others are doing and start focusing on becoming the best version of yourself, you unlock true success, happiness, and fulfillment. Self-love is the foundation of everything you do in life. It shapes how you see yourself, how you allow others to treat you, and how you move through the world. Without it, you constantly seek validation from others, struggle with self-doubt, and feel like you are never enough. But when you truly love yourself, everything changes. You stop relying on others to make you feel worthy. You stop settling for less than you deserve. You start making choices that align with your happiness, your well-being, and your goals. Self-love is not about being arrogant or thinking you are better than others. It is about knowing your worth, respecting yourself, and treating yourself with the same kindness and care that you give to the people you love. One of the biggest reasons people struggle with self-love is because they have been conditioned to believe they are not enough. From a young age, society bombards you with messages that you need to be different to be accepted. You are told you need to look a certain way, achieve certain things, or act in a certain manner to be worthy of love and respect. Over time, you start believing these false ideas and they shape how you see yourself. You become your own worst critic, focusing on your flaws rather than your strengths. You compare yourself to others, thinking you should be further ahead, more successful, or more attractive. This mindset keeps you trapped in a cycle of self-doubt, constantly seeking external validation instead of realizing that your worth has nothing to do with what others think. True self-love starts when you stop seeking approval from others and start validating yourself. It means recognizing that you are already enough as you are. It means understanding that your value is not based on your achievements, appearance, or other people's opinions. When you love yourself, you stop waiting for someone else to tell you that you are worthy. You stop measuring your success by society's standards. You start focusing on what makes you happy, what fulfills you, and what aligns with your truth. You begin to make choices that serve you rather than trying to please everyone else. One of the most powerful ways to practice self-love is through self-care. Taking care of yourself is not selfish, it is necessary. It means setting boundaries, saying no when something does not serve you, and prioritizing your mental, emotional, and physical well-being. So many people put themselves last, thinking that sacrificing their happiness for others is a sign of love. But you cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot give your best to the world if you are constantly drained, stressed, or unhappy. Self-care is about making time for yourself, whether that means resting, doing things you enjoy, or simply allowing yourself to slow down and breathe. When you take care of yourself, you feel better, and when you feel better, you show up as your best self in every area of your life. Another essential part of self-love is the way you talk to yourself. Your inner voice has a powerful impact on your confidence, motivation, and overall well-being. If you constantly tell yourself that you are not good enough, that you will never succeed, or that you are not deserving of happiness, you start to believe it. Negative self-talk keeps you stuck, making you doubt your abilities and fear taking risks. But when you change the way you speak to yourself, everything shifts. Instead of focusing on your flaws, start recognizing your strengths. Instead of doubting yourself, remind yourself of all the things you have overcome. Speak to yourself with kindness, the same way you would encourage a friend. The words you say to yourself become your reality, so make sure they uplift rather than tear you down. Loving yourself also means letting go of the past. Many people hold on to mistakes, failures, and regrets, using them as proof that they are not worthy. They replay their past over and over, punishing themselves for things they cannot change. But true self-love means forgiving yourself. It means understanding that you are human and like everyone else, you have made mistakes. Growth comes from learning, and you cannot grow if you are stuck in the past. When you forgive yourself, you free yourself from guilt, shame, and self-judgment. You allow yourself to move forward with peace and confidence, knowing that your past does not define you. One of the most beautiful things about self-love is that it changes how you allow others to treat you. When you truly love yourself, you stop settling for toxic relationships, friendships, and environments that drain you. You stop accepting less than you deserve because you know your worth. You surround yourself with people who respect, support, and uplift you. You set boundaries and do not feel guilty for protecting your peace. You understand that love, whether from others or yourself, should never come at the cost of your happiness and well-being. The journey to self-love is not always easy, but it is the most important journey you will ever take. It requires patience, self-reflection, and a commitment to treating yourself with kindness and respect. But once you start loving yourself, everything in your life improves. You become more confident, more resilient, and more at peace with yourself. You start attracting opportunities, relationships, and experiences that align with your highest self. You realize that the most powerful thing you can do is to be unapologetically yourself, knowing that you are already enough exactly as you are. Everything you want is on the other side of one decision, the decision to focus on yourself, not just for a day, not just for a week, but as a way of life. Because when you commit to yourself fully, completely, everything changes. You stop chasing and you start attracting. You stop waiting and you start creating. You stop fearing and you start living. And one day, you'll wake up and realize you're no longer trying to impress the world. You're too busy becoming the best version of yourself. And that is the moment you become unstoppable.